Basketball game? Crushed it. And the day's just getting started. Now, kicking it with my crew. When I need a quick snack, Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with electrolytes pouches are always in the starting lineup. Made with real fruit and select electrolytes. And so tasty. From workouts to hangouts to whatever's next, I go with Go-Go Squeeze Active. Snag yours on your next store run. Available on Amazon.
Where we learn and who we learn from changes throughout our lives. In our homes, we learn from our parents, grandparents, siblings, and partners. In school, we learn from our professors, coaches, and friends. And at work, our bosses, coworkers, and mentors. But for millions of us, there is a very special place where we learned a lot of valuable things from some very special teachers. We not only learned our alphabet and numbers and shapes and colors, about plants and animals and countries and space, but also about the complexities of life, love and happiness, and grief, sorrow, and death. But one of the most important things we learned is that everyone in the world is different, including us, and that is okay. It doesn't matter if we're big or small, young or old. It doesn't matter where we were born or who we want to love. It's okay if you're a giant bird with childlike wonder, or a green grouch who lives in a garbage can, or even a monster who simply cannot get enough cookies. You are the only you there is, and that is a very special thing. And since we've been trying to figure out how to get to the place we learned all of these things for the last 56 years, that's why this week's On Brand is on Sesame Street.
We're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. And what's your favorite show? And it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
Hey, I'm Jon.
Hey, I'm Marisa.
J is for Jon. Here we go.
Here we go.
What a perfect time to do this. If you do not know, and why would you, today is the first day of school in Los Angeles.
Wow, we made it, baby.
Kids, I mean, I didn't. I chose not to have children. Yet I live right next to a huge high school, so traffic is abysmal.
So you are on your porch with binoculars, scoping out these creamy teens as they pass the threshold.
I'm wearing a heart shirt. I did the most wholesome episode possible. No, I'm not looking for creamy teens. I did wake up to a big gulp cup in my driveway.
Sure. Well, you'll be on the lookout for discarded detritus from the high schoolers that you can con Amazon into returning for you.
Just so you know, just very quickly where that has landed.
Yes.
I'm almost done with it.
What do you mean?
If you don't know, I found a dented hydro flask on the ground several months ago. I brought it in
front of a dumpster.
Was going to clean it, and then there was a leak in it. So I bought the exact same one from Amazon, returned the broken one, hated the color. I have now since bought another hydro flask in a color that I like from Marshall's. I have taken the sticker off of that one and applied it to the ugly one, and I have now 12 days to return the ugly one, completing the cycle of going from a piece of trash on the street to an army green hydro flask that I can't wait to bring Autumn in with.
You're going to return the ugly one to Marshall's and say, I was given the wrong color?
I'm not going to say anything. It doesn't matter. It's got the sticker on it. I'm just going to say I'm just going to return it.
Wow.
And the circle is complete.
This is why
I am a genius. This is why. So your kids went off to school today. Did that go off without a hitch?
It went off without a hitch. And this is the first time in 7 years we've had limited childcare with my little one. So like 4-hour half day of preschool. So this is the first time that 8 a.m. to 2:40 I am free as a bird.
That's incredible.
Wow.
I assume
I'm just cranking off all day long.
I was going to say, I assume your research for the pod will get much more in depth. You're going to really go down.
Sure, I'll take breaks in between cranking off.
Babe, I am not letting you do this to my Sesame Street episode. You have ruined Skyline. You've ruined other ones. You are keeping this clean.
Sesame Street it's very important. It's sacred in my household.
It is sacred.
It was the first TV show that my daughter watched. She's 6 now. It was the first TV show she watched. She was 3 years old. And we watched the I started with I tried to watch like the 80s ones, like from my childhood.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I feel like they're kind of like, maybe we've come, and actually the newer episodes, I think for some reason I thought they would be like bad. Like the way old stuff is always better than new stuff.
Yeah.
But the new episodes are also great. And I like that they have, introducing new characters, and it's just awesome. And so we watched the same episode of Sesame Street, I think 45 times. Like that was what she wanted to watch.
One episode?
One episode.
So she knows the letters Q, L, and T really well. She knows the number 6 and 9. There you go.
There's an episode called Ramp Racers, and I have it memorized like the back of my hand. It would be like she'd watch that, and then they'd make a cardboard ramp, and the girl from Sinners and was from that other cowboy movie. She sings the song in it. There's like celebrities that will pop in and sing songs, so it's fun like for the grown up to be like, that lady is.
That's
is
all
there.
Intentional.
It's very fun.
Have it be for kids. I was going to read this later on, but I'll read this now just because I think it's funny. In 2007, when they started releasing old episodes on DVD, there was a warning on them that said adults only. These early Sesame Street episodes are intended for grown-ups and may not suit the needs of today's preschool child.
Intended for grown-ups.
Intended.
There was a lot of nudity for Mr. Hooper. He was full hog out.
Babe, I swear to f***ing God. If you make this a rated X episode, all the Doughboy fans are like, yeah, crank it.
Talk
Hooper,
about Mr. Hooper's
anal
hog.
Hooper. No, we're not doing it. This is...
You know how he got the name Mr. Hooper?
You know what? How?
His dick's as fat as a hula hoop. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
There are mothers.
I'm done.
There are children.
I'm done. We're on the straight and narrow. I love Sesame Street. We read the Sesame Street books incessantly. That was their first introduction to the characters, was of course reading the books.
B, C. Wow,
D.
hard reading.
There's a lot of, and it's the funniest thing. Okay, the Sesame Street books are interesting because the lore is different as like just depending on the book.
Yeah.
So like there's some, and I get hung up on things in children's books like, I'll be like, wait a minute, is Bert a boy or a man? He lives with Ernie.
It's all very
But then
confusing.
he also like goes to school and he's in like play group with Grover and like Big Bert, but they live alone. And then some of them have parents, like Grover has parents. And I'm like, which one of you are kids? Like things like that I get hung up on. Something I love that we always joke about, Alistair is a Bert and you're Ernie, canonically. And so there will always be things that come up in the books that because they're roommates and they're such opposites that like there was a thing where Bert was vacuuming the grass.
Of course he was.
and my kids now they're like, oh my God, that's like something Al would do.
Yeah.
And there's a part in a book where Bert goes to Mr. Hooper's store and everyone else, they don't even mention it in the writing. Everyone else gets like ice cream, soda, floats, whatever.
Yeah.
And Bert gets just a water. And so he's just sitting at the counter in Hooper's store and everyone has like root beer floats and he's just drinking a water.
Yes.
I love the characters.
I mean, Bert and Ernie. And there's been a debate for decades. Are they roommates? Are they lovers? I do think they've come out like, more than once and been like, we're just friends. I think they don't want to make them gay.
I don't know.
But it's like, come on,
by
2025.
they're going to be full gay.
You've been living together for 56 years. You've definitely... Wait, now I'm you? They're just friends. They don't take bubble baths together.
I don't know. They might.
I don't know. I don't know if you know this about me, but when I very first moved to LA, I and my good friend Christine, who I've talked about a million times on the show, we worked together on a puppet show. So I feel like I know this world a little bit doing this research.
Wow.
Like it is a very different experience to work on a puppet show than it is like a normal kid show or any sort of television show or movie. Like the whole world, it's so interesting to be in it because like puppeteers stand. So like all the sets are built higher than normal. So it's like, and they're constantly like this with their puppet, but you see them and they're watching a monitor, but they have to make
I love a like 1970s black and white photo of a Sesame Street puppeteer under the scaffolding, like with like craned into like a letter R.
There's so much footage. I'll give a shout out now since we're talking about it. I did, this is my second show in a row where I watched a documentary, Both of them have been on Amazon Prime, which I've never used. But there's a documentary called Street Gang, How We Got to Sesame Street from 2021. Cute. Fantastic. There's so much footage of that. And my favorite of it is all the guys, not to be you, they're like 70s porn stars with like mustaches. Everyone's smoking, like holding like Oscar the Grouch, but smoking a big cigarette on set.
Something about that, I promise I'm not trying to always be like this. I feel like the 1970s puppet world is like kind of horny.
I swear.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like art school kind of, I don't know, maybe like art school rejects. Like they didn't want to do the conventional thing. They want to do this. It's almost like Pee-wee world. It's like they want to do something that was a little abstract, a little out there, a little like not even sure what they were doing, if there would be an audience for it. I feel like that would have been a fun world to be in.
Yeah, I would definitely like to visit it.
Time travel.
If I could go anywhere back in time, it would be to taste an original Big Mac because I want to know how meaty it was, and to week 3 of production of Sesame Street.
Honestly, that would be great.
It'd be
how
great.
Fun.
Obviously, I grew up with Sesame Street and I know the characters and stuff, but I never researched it. I definitely learned a lot of interesting things in this, and it's like, man, what a hustle that show is. It is like, I watched episode 1 yesterday.
Yeah.
After I'd done all this research, I was like, maybe I should actually just sit and watch this show. It is an acid trip.
Yes.
There is so much that they got into that 55 minutes of television. It's mind-boggling. But we'll get into that and how much they had to do. What I was going to say about, and this isn't even important, but I just want to share it. When I worked on that puppet show, the really fun thing that we had to learn was we did props. So, like, there was, like, a cat character, and one day she had to make, like, 1 million. She had a tower of, like, yarn balls.
Oh, cute.
Everything that we made couldn't weigh more than 5 ounces. Even if they're like, we need a dumbbell, like, because the puppets couldn't, like, lift them. So, like, we had to become masters in creating props that looked huge and big, but weighed absolutely nothing.
Wow. Where can people see this, or was this, like, a live thing?
It was on for, like, a year. It was, like, a little puppet show within another show, and I actually looked up there's like a little Reddit about it, and like people are like, I wish I could find it.
What was it called?
The Crayon Box. And it was like, they had these little crayons. Like, it was just such a fun show. But no, it's not available anymore. I, of course, still have my Crayon Box crew hat.
I was going to say, I feel like you would definitely be stealing from that set. Little, like, foam crayons.
I was new to town. I didn't steal that much when I first got here. I had to get my bearings before I felt comfortable completely stealing. All right, but this is kind of a beefy show, and we're on a little bit of a time crunch because you have to pick up your children, and we're getting a little bit of a late start. So we're just going to jump on in. We're going to take a ride down Sesame Street.
Hop on, baby.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Yes, Mr. Gecko, you're a huge inspiration to us all. But who was your muse?
Oh, my dear old Nan. She imparted many wise words to me. She would say, never let the fame get to your head, always remember who you are, and let people get more than just savings with Geico's fast and friendly claim support. I lived up to her advice, and now anyone can file a claim anywhere and anytime. I miss her so much.
Did she go somewhere?
Yeah, extended quilting trip.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
Okay, so what is Sesame Street? When it started, it was a national educational television project that was meant to help prepare 3, 4, and 5-year-olds to enter elementary school. I did not know that it was, it was basically a television version of modern day preschool.
Sure.
I did not know that it was originally geared towards kids that small.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think that that was the point. This is like before they go to school, this is teaching them like letters and numbers.
It's 100% the point, and we'll get into why too.
Cute.
All right, so it is mid to late 1960s. So we've got the Vietnam War. The country is obviously very divided. Everyone's mad. You can feel the tension. Everyone's yelling at each other. I wanted to throw in a kid's term. Everyone in America had very big feelings right now.
Yes.
That's something I hear parents say a lot. You're having big feelings right now, and that's okay. But that's the country that we're in. So enter Joan Cooney. We have a woman. I am so grateful.
Oh my God. I feel like we need like a bell.
I know.
We need a gong.
We need a lady gong. Lady gong gong. Okay.
I don't know what that is,
but
it's something.
It's her rival, her on-brand rival. Move over, bitch. Sorry, it's Sesame Street. All right, so Joan Cooney, she's a TV producer from New York City in the 1960s. She has a documentary named Poverty, Anti-Poverty, and the Poor, which focused on the U.S. government's war on the poverty program. She won an Emmy for it, so
wow.
I don't know if I can really relate to her. I don't know if
Interesting.
you'll be able to quite as much.
You might see her at like an Emmy alum luncheon.
She is still living, which made me very happy.
We might meet her
she's
someday.
She's in her 80s or 90s. I would love to meet Joan. I hear she was very like sassy and cool and strong and awesome. I'm a big fan of Joan Cooney.
Those qualities I recognize.
In me?
Yeah.
She was very involved in the civil rights movement, and she loved to have dinner parties. According to her, she loved nothing more than having a dinner party on Friday that gave her time to clean up on Saturday
Oh my gosh.
and just chill on Sundays.
I love her.
Who
The
doesn't?
best.
So she has one of her notorious dinner parties. One of the guests is...
I want to have notorious dinner parties.
You used to. I don't know what happened.
I still
You
can.
used to make us like cheese plates. Like since the kids, I'm not going to say it's because of the kids you chose to
come over earlier.
have.
We eat dinner every night.
Yeah, but that's different. Like usually when we were watching TV, you would just
come out
pop
with a little
in with
snack.
like, I made like 3 trays of hors d'oeuvres and like.
I'm gonna do that more.
You don't do that anymore.
I'm gonna channel my inner Joan.
I blame the
Well, I'm all charged up now from all my cranking off. I'm gonna have energy.
I swear to God, Al, just take Marisa out of the show. I mean, it's going to be a monologue.
Like, was she out sick? What happened? It's only John.
So she has a guest over. His name is Lloyd Morissette. Not like Alanis, because there's not an E on the end.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
So this guy is a psychologist at Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. And he has a daughter, and he's talking to Joan about her, and his daughter's really gotten into television.
Okay.
Now, at Carnegie, they're maybe a little snooty. They don't love the idea of television. Television is its own kind of thing at the time. You have to remember, like, it's new enough. I mean, it's obviously been around for a while. Lucy started in 1951, I think. So it's been around for less than 20 years, but I'm sure there's still people of the mindset like it's a boob tube.
Sure.
It's trash.
It's
like,
low class.
It's going to
We
ruin your
watch
brain.
film.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's kind of their mindset. But the two are talking, and she's very involved in like poorer communities, and he's talking about television, and I forgot I even did this. So now to honor, because we're coming to the end, I think tonight is the last episode of And Just Like That.
Okay.
So we are now coming to the end of our lives with Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City, and Just Like That.
Sad.
It makes
I can't believe there has to be another movie or something. This is so sad.
I literally just got goosebumps because I'm so sad and in denial this is happening. The way that I'm going to honor this tradition and watch it only happen this episode, when it happens naturally, I will have a Carrie Bradshaw like thesis moment.
Sure, yeah.
And so for this one, let's just imagine Joan Cooney sitting at her window in New York, looking out the window and thinking, and I couldn't help but wonder, could television teach? That's my Carrie Bradshaw
I love it.
thesis for this episode.
Do, 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 do.
Do. So children's television at this time had one purpose. Sell.
Oh, yes.
What were you going to say?
Oh, Howdy Doody.
Howdy Doody's on the list. Yes, that was one of the shows at the time. But, basically,
Sure.
okay, let's say it had two purposes. One, to just entertain kids.
Yes.
And two, sell.
But the big push is like, this is the Ovaltine Music Hour. It was
sell
yes,
food,
for
sell
sure.
cereal, sell toys, sell candy, sell. It was not, and it was absolutely not an avenue for education.
Interesting.
So like you said, we had Howdy Doody, we had Captain Kangaroo, who I've been told I look like. Feel free to Google it. I don't totally disagree.
Striking blue eyes.
Striking blue eyes. I need cult bangs. I will say that in 1968 was the debut of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
I do consider that an educational show. He was teaching
Beyond.
about like social and emotional learning. He was teaching kids about their feelings and being kind and
How
understanding.
crayons are made.
How crayons are made. So, and then I was thinking like, what world? You're a parent in the 60s, and all of a sudden, in a 2-year period,
Unreal.
you have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Sesame Street at your disposal. You don't even have to be home anymore.
Great.
Just leave the kids in front of the TV.
Go to Vegas.
And go to Vegas, crank it off, and do what you got to do. So even though Carnegie Foundation was a little snooty about television, they did recognize that there was an educational gap between suburban and urban kids. That was just kind of how the system was created in American schools. So they hired Joan to conduct a feasibility study on using television as a teaching medium. So she does this like research. She spent 4 months going around the country. She's talking to experts and just meeting with different people, educators, and she puts all of her findings into this report called Television for Preschool Education. And what she learns is basically kids love television. Kids, and I am blown away by this statistic, especially in the world that we live in now, and knowing you and knowing all my friends that have kids, and kids don't get screen time until they're 18, and it's like such a big deal. Kids at this time, between the ages of 3 to 5, were spending half of their waking hours watching television. The only thing that they did more was sleep.
I'm so confused because there wasn't dedicated children's TV channels.
Well, no, there's shows
So,
on.
but like, what were they? They were just watching
Probably
soap
anything.
operas,
Probably the
news,
news.
game shows,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, that's how it was even. But like when I grew up, there was
Fantasy
like
Island, Dragnet.
sure there would be a block of maybe on like after school, maybe 3 hours of kids shows, but it certainly wasn't like all day.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably just in a crib or just sitting there like doing nothing.
That is crazy.
But what she learned that was interesting is absolutely they can learn from television because when they know the jingles, they see a product and they know what it is.
Yes.
They learned that from watching television.
There you go. Might as well teach them their ABCs.
Okay.
Instead of just where to buy alphabet soup.
Progresso, episode 89 of On Brand. So she boils it down. She's like, there's 2 things that I need to figure out. I need to figure out what kids like to watch, and I need to figure out what would be good for them to watch and combine those 2 things.
Great.
So she creates something called the Children's Television Workshop. And the goal is basically to create an educational kids television show to help them get up to speed, basically, before they start kindergarten.
Great.
Oh, and then I came across this quote from her that I didn't know where to fit into the show, but I just, for some reason, really loved this quote. So I'm just going to read it here. She said, "The people who control the system read, and the people who make it in the system read." And I thought that was so simple. It's like how important it is to have the power of the education of something as simple that we take for granted of reading.
Yes.
If you cannot read, you are so far behind the game.
It is so true.
Joan Cooney, love you.
Wow.
Okay.
What a legend.
What a legend. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to do this kid show. We're going to get them ready for preschool. What does that look like? We're going to do a 1-hour show. That comes out to 130 hours of television a year.
Okay.
They're told to put together a budget for it. They do that. That budget is $8 million to do a year of television.
Okay.
That translates...
What does that today?
$73.9 million.
This is them saying, we can do it. This is what it will cost. Or somebody's giving them this money.
Well, luckily, I was like, well, that's it. That's the end of the show.
Pack it up.
Put the lid on Oscar. Cook up Big Bird. We're having Bird tonight.
Those legs.
The government flips up half the bill. Those legs.
Big Bird's legs.
It's like bigger than like a Renaissance fair.
You'd eat Big Bird's leg.
I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, it seems so unappetizing.
You'd go straight for the breast. Ho. All right, so the government ends up footing half of the bill. They put up like whatever, $4 million, and then the Carnegie Corporation, the Ford Foundation, and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting come up with the rest. So it's like, it's funded. I mean, it's just funded. Everyone thinks it's important enough.
Wow.
It is a very wealthy show.
How do we get in on that?
I know. Let's go. If I go back to a time machine, I go to that money being sent over to Sesame Street.
I'll re-edit this to make it a kids podcast.
Yeah, exactly. For the government. Yeah. Well, that's going to be really hard with you in it. Good Lord. Okay.
I'm a woman of the people.
So now she has the idea. She's got the money. So she wants to put together a group of producers, researchers, educators, TV writers, and have them all work together to create the show. And that was a very radical idea at the time, like having like educators sitting in a writer's room.
Yeah.
Like the
Certainly not on Howdy Doody.
Not on Howdy Doody.
School teacher.
Or Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
Because even though they were hiring comedy writers, which one of the writers who got hired said, basically at the time, I was out of work and there was 2 places like you could get a job in New York to be a comedy writer, The Tonight Show or Sesame Street. And he was like, I knew that they were not going to hire me on The Tonight Show.
Wow.
So he gets a job on Sesame Street, ends up writing one of the most prolific stories that they ever have, which we'll get to later. But the thing about being a comedy writer on Sesame Street is absolutely everything you write has to be a teaching moment. Mm-hmm. There is really no fat. I watched that first episode. I was so impressed with how much you were being taught and the ways they presented it. So it was not the easiest thing, and it's a completely new concept. So here we go. It's March of 1968. And the television workshop starts researching ideas to make this new, yet-to-be-titled kid show. Joan reaches out to a producer that she knows named John Stone. He has a master's degree from Yale University. He wanted to be an actor. He went to their school of drama, but he ended up working on Captain Kangaroo. He worked with Jim Henson on a series that he did called Hey Cinderella. He had worked in television for years and felt like he was like kind of done with it, like ready to retire. And then he gets this call from Joan. She's like, look, I'm staffing up this show. It's a kid show. You did the Roo. Like, come with me. Let's figure this out. He's like, Joan, I gotta be honest. Like, kid shows are shit. He's like, I don't like them. They're trying to like,
been there, done that.
They're trying to sell cereal. They're trying to do this. I just don't want any part of it. She's like, bro, listen, this is different.
Yes.
I have a focus on urban communities. I have an extra focus on the Black children in urban communities because I do not think that they have all the opportunities that everyone has going into kindergarten. She says, I think they start at a disadvantage, and I think we're in a position to get them up to speed so they can start running from kindergarten.
Amazing.
And he's like, you know what? Yeah, bitch.
Wow.
Let's
give this shit a shot.
do it. Let's give this shit a shot. So he's on board. He gets brought in as a producer and head writer. And he sees it as like he wants to make a show that like kind of captures that like vibe of New York City with what I was talking about earlier, this whole like tension in America, like what's going on with the Vietnam War. And he wants to be able to explain the world to children, not just like, hey, here's your ABCs, like here's what's going on in a very kid digestible way.
Yes.
And so he's like, yeah, let's do it. Now, the Office of Education, who put in $4 million, clearly they're like, well, you have to make sure you teach them this, this, and this. So he's a little worried about how he's going to get it all done. But he's like, you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Let's go.
An hour is a long time. The show is shorter now. I think it's like 20-something minutes.
And it was an hour. Like, it wasn't like 37 minutes. Like, Days of Our Lives, it's considered an hour show. Sometimes it's 32 minutes. Like, the episode I watched was 56 minutes, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
No commercials.
Yeah, that is dense.
It was a dense show. So when he joins, there is no name. There is no format. There's no set. There's really nothing. And he's like, you know what? I feel like I could use a little help on this. So it's 1968. You're making a kid show. Who are you going to call? you've got a buddy named Jim Henson. Let's call Jimmy Boy and see what he's up to.
Interesting. The Puppet King.
The Puppet King, which I didn't realize at the time, he's making like Muppet comedies and like little shorts, but they're not geared towards children.
Really?
No, it was like geared towards black humor and college-age kids.
Oh, interesting.
So this would be like his first time like making something specifically for not just kids, but like 3 to 5-year-olds, like little kids. But he loved the idea of taking like commercial techniques that they were using in television and using them for children. Kind of like what you said a minute ago. Instead of selling kids cereal, we'll use those same techniques, but we'll sell them the alphabet.
Yeah,
we'll sell them shapes and colors. And that really aligned with Joan's vision. And the way she saw it, in the same way that advertisers would have like 30-second and 1-minute spots, they would make 30-second and 1-minute spots that repeated kind of the same concept over and over. So it was kind of like a commercial for shapes, a commercial for a specific number or letter.
Playing into that like repetition
100%.
to lock it in your mind. Because if you can, memorize the jingle of a song, you can memorize the ABCs. Might as well.
Exactly.
Wow, that's awesome.
Exactly. So instead of bombarding kids with like tons of facts and just random bits of information, the way they looked at it was more important to develop good like thinking processes, the ability to like organize information, and the awareness of all your senses and how to use them. Like really like forming them into like tiny little adults. And if you watch that first episode, it is not bluey. I mean, I love some of the newer kid shows because I see them when I'm at my niece's house and stuff. They're very cute. And a lot of this stuff may seem so like commonsensical now, but at the time, and like that warning I read earlier, some of them may not have aged into the society that we are now, but like they weren't treating kids like kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it's on HBO. If you haven't seen it, not all the seasons are on there, but season 1 of Sesame Street is on HBO to stream if you want to check that out. So this is just like a really fun time for the show. This is when they're like figuring out all these early bits. They want to incorporate animation and they want to incorporate music and they want to have people and they want to have Jim Henson's coming with some of his own puppets. He's going to make puppets specifically for the show. It's just really cool. Like I would love to be there during this time because some of the stuff like, and I'll mention in a second, like Ernie taking a bath is something that we like. He still loves to take a bath. Like that was in episode 1.
Is so
like he's been taking a bubble bath for 56 years.
So funny when those things. It's like somebody just probably threw out the idea. What if he has a rubber ducky in a bathtub, and then you don't know at the time that that's going to be 50 years later.
I know, and he looks almost the exact same. Big Bird looks like
old Big Bird,
old Big Bird, and its pointy head is so insane to me.
We sanded some of the edges off Big Bird. Big Bird is a totally different beast now. Early Big Bird is like nightmare.
And Oscar was orange.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think maybe after a couple episodes or a couple seasons, he turned green, and they were like, how are we going to explain that he's green? And I think Oscar's just like, I went to the swamp, and I fell in, and I turned green, and now I'm green. And he was just green.
Like, okay.
Okay. All right, so they're figuring all these things out. They don't have a set yet. So Jon is kind of struggling with what the vision of the set should be like. And as I've said a couple of times, and I'm sure I'll say more, the show is geared towards inner city kids. Again, with a big focus on inner city black kids. So and kid shows at the time, you know, they're going to take place in like a circus tent or a treehouse or some brightly lit thing with ABCs on the wall or this or that. They're geared towards kind of generic kid stuff. And he's watching TV one day and he sees a commercial for the Urban Coalition that was set outside in Harlem. It's a very like real feel. It's like the stoops and the brownstones and kids playing in the fire hydrant and playing baseball in the middle of the street. And he really has an aha moment. And he's like, this is the vibe. He's like, if you were a kid in New York, and I don't know if this is still a term, like when I was young, they were called like latchkey kids. Like they had a key to their house because their parents were working and they would go home and they would just be cooped up in their apartment while their parents worked until they got home for dinner. He's like, those kids are looking out their window and they're seeing the street as where excitement is or where life is. He's like, so let's make that what the set's going to be. He's like, I want it to feel like a really real street.
Wow.
And Joan, of course, completely logically was worried about this. She's like, you know, I don't know if that's going to play in like urban places, but she's like, you know what? I brought you on. I completely trust you.
Wow.
Let's just try it.
I wonder if there's an element too where it's like, if you live in a neighborhood that's a little rough, because I love the set design of Sesame Street.
It's incredible.
I love the rust and the cracked paint is like intentionally cracked paint, intentionally kind of broken brick, juxtaposed with like the bright, colorful monsters and like the warmth and energy and vibrancy. It could take this street that maybe would feel like this is like less than those like bright, shiny, sparkly places where I wish I lived, and kind of elevates it to like, oh, this is where the party is. This is where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's
this
so
is
cool.
lived in. This is history.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on my bucket list right now to visit the set of Sesame Street.
to
I
go
hope
to
On Brand
Sesame
gets,
Street.
gets what?
I want to go to Sesame Street.
I want to go to Sesame Street. On Brand from Sesame Street.
Come on, invite us. Invite us to the stoop.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so great. Okay, so now he's got the set figured out. Now he needs a name. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If it's going to be like this street theme, like let's give it a street name.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they pick 123 Avenue B.
Love it.
Love it.
Perfect.
Let's call it that. Someone does a little research. There's actually already a place in New York with that exact address. We can't use it.
And a big yellow bird does live there, and a guy in a bath with
Two
a ducky.
ambiguous men living together,
Roommates,
bathing
long-term
together.
roommates.
So they can't use that. So at this time, the Children's Television Network is also conducting a lot of like kid studies, like if they're like, using them as market research.
Yeah, like a focus group.
Focus group. So they're, involved with kids a lot during this time. So in one of these sessions, they told the kids, hey, we're looking for a name for this show.
Oh my God.
So they end up getting 7 submissions, one of those suggestions being Sesame Street. And the idea behind it was, like at the time, I feel like you don't hear this as much now, but like magicians had the phrase open sesame.
Yes.
And that was all about like, you're going into a place of like wonder and magic, and you don't know exactly what's going to be there, but they wanted to play with, and I don't know what kid came up with this. This could have been altered over time to like fit this, but that is what the narrative now is that the Sesame stands for.
I hope that kid got a check for $100 million.
We're going to get there. You might be surprised. We're going to get there. So they submit that. They go back to the group. We're like, hey, we got this idea. This kid said, what if we call it Sesame Street? Everyone in the group hates it.
Oh,
They're
no.
like, this sucks. What are you talking about? Someone's like, that's unimaginative. One person's like, it's too essy. Like, you always know someone in that group. They're like, Sesame Street.
It's like, nobody's going to say it like that.
No one's saying it like that.
Also, isn't alliteration good in branding?
It's not Lord Voldemort. It's like Sesame Street. Too essy. I love that, like on the page, like too essy.
Too essy.
So, but
Unreal.
they don't have anything better. So they're like, all right, let's all just agree. We have a lot.
Temp name, Sesame Street.
We have a lot to do. Let's put a pin in it.
Great.
We'll tentatively call it Sesame Street until we find something better. Obviously, the rest is history.
Mm.
And then I have here, fun fact. By the time the name was chosen, they were never able to identify the child that gave them the name. So there is some 62-year-old person out there that named this iconic show Sesame Street, who may or may not know. Who knows?
God.
I don't remember what I told people when I was 5 years old.
Wow. Come forward. Identify yourself.
Come forward.
Actually, I did it. It was me.
I did. I'm older than you, I think. I don't know when you were born, but you're 40. It doesn't matter. Yeah, someone out there
Unreal.
is a part of history and may or may not
It was just
know.
like a little ghost time traveler child.
Okay, if I had a time machine, Big Mac, third week of Sesame Street, and to the focus group to identify the person.
Okay, name the show,
I'm spending a lot of my time machine in the world of Sesame Street.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 Sesame Street related. Okay, so here, now we've got the set. We have the name. Now we got to cast it. And according to Jon, this is like kind of the only haphazard part of the process of all of this. People are getting hired just because they know Jon or other producers. Like, oh, I have a buddy that did this. Fine, bring him in. He can work on the show. Does he have a crazy voice? Great, we'll make him do this.
Oh, that's my favorite way to get hired.
Me too. I don't like to do any sort of resume or any sort of work. I just like to be like, hey, this guy might be able to do it.
Get Jon in here.
So we're in the spring of 1969 now. They haven't done any auditions yet, and they're planning on filming 5 episodes to test with children in July.
Wow.
Which at first I was like, wow, and it's already spring. But then I was like, I mean, nowadays you have an audition on Friday and you start shooting that film like 2 days
true.
later. It's like,
That's
they
true.
have 3 or 4 months.
Work it out. You'll be fine.
Yeah. What are you, Colonel Sanders and his 8-minute chicken? Like, time was just slower back then.
I think it was slower.
But they have these auditions in the spring and they tape the auditions on video cassette and then show them to kids. And basically, if the kids loved it, you move on. Maybe you get hired.
These are like the grown-ups on the show auditioning?
Yes.
Okay.
These are the grown-ups on the show. So we ended up with 4 human characters on the show. Do you remember who they are?
Maria?
Nope, she's later.
Okay. Mr. Hooper.
Mr. Hooper. I'll just tell you.
Maybe that would be easier.
We'll
just keep naming names.
Okay. A lady, I already forgot our arch rival. Google. Lady who? All right. So we have Gordon, the science teacher, his wife, Susan.
Okay.
Bob, I think a single white man.
Bob. Sounds like the pervert.
Babe, he's not a pervert.
Trench coat.
No.
Flasher.
And Mr. Hooper. So you have 2 black actors, 2 white actors. Semi-diverse cast, I think at the time, maybe considered.
that probably was at the time because there were probably black shows and white shows.
I feel like black shows came along more in the 70s. That's when you got like the Jeffersons and the one with the junkyard, Sanford and Son, and some different black shows. So maybe at the time, 2 black people and 2 white people is pretty diverse. And then, of course, you have Jim Henson's amazing Muppets. So they're ready to go to like film these test shows. Now, based on the advice that they got from child psychologists, they were told the humans and the Muppets must remain separate on the street.
I mean, have experts ever gotten it right?
Never
what did you get your degree in? You are an idiot.
You're a moron.
All of your instincts are wrong.
They thought that kids would just get too confused seeing a human talking to a Muppet.
I love that instinct, too, of like having a bad idea and saying it so loudly and so certainly. Like, okay, I know I haven't pitched it. You guys are doing great. I haven't really needed to pipe up a lot. But I am going to use my platform right now to say this one thing.
One thing. Definitively.
Definitively.
Kids will not understand a puppet talking to a human. There, that's it. I said it.
That's it. That's really...
Take with it what you want, but follow that advice.
My only note.
My only note. I couldn't help but giggle this morning when I was going over these notes, thinking that Joan, who is an Emmy Award-winning documentarian on poverty and a huge civil rights person, is going in the show shooting a segregated piece where Muppets and humans must be divided.
Must be divided, yes. Their cultures are too different.
That's
they
a
won't
little
understand
ironic.
Each other.
Yeah. So they shoot the scenes as encouraged.
Okay.
And then they go around, they end up sharing it, it said, with 60 homes throughout Philadelphia and different daycare centers to get feedback from people. And it generally earned very positive reviews. Kids learned from the shows. The appeal rate of the show was very high. It held children's attention for much of the hour. It was all pretty positive. What they did notice is that the children's attention was extremely high on the Muppet sections and wiggled down on the humans.
When these 2 boring grown-ups are talking.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. When a married couple's at home talking about paying the bills. They're like, meh. So the producers decided to go against convention and have Muppets and humans interact.
Great.
Refilm some scenes. Jim Henson makes some new Muppets. We get Ernie and Bert, which everyone back then referred to as Ernie and Bert. I've only ever referred to them as Bert and Ernie. Even in the newspaper, it said Ernie and Bert,
yeah.
which I found very odd.
They're always Bert and Ernie.
We get Big Bird, and then in one of the newspapers, it referred to Oscar as the garbage can dweller. Though I did watch the first show, and he wasn't calling Oscar the Grouch, but they said, this is Oscar, he is grouchy.
He is
so
grouchy,
Grouch
sure.
has been around since the beginning. So, them making that decision and going against these silly child psychologists was really a defining moment for this show.
Yeah.
Because Sesame Street without that interaction is nothing. It's so silly.
Sure. And you can kind of understand if it's never been done before. It's like blurring the lines of like cartoon and live action. It's like if it had never been done before, of course, you have to break the mold.
And I think that even happened with George Lucas, like less than 10 years later when he had decided to have Yoda be a main character, which Yoda, played by Frank Oz, who Bert is voiced by Frank Oz. So he goes on to voice Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Animal, Grover, Cookie Monster, and Yoda in Star Wars. And side note, directed what was one of my all-time favorite things during COVID, a one-man show called In and of Itself, who I think you watched. It's like that magician one-man show. If you have not seen it, please check it out. It's incredible. But he's doing Bert, and Ernie's being done by Jim Henson himself. So these people have got like these like legends, just like riffing and having fun with these two puppets. Like I honestly did not know that those were the people that voiced Bert and Ernie in the beginning.
And wait, are Kermit and Miss Piggy on Sesame Street?
In the beginning, Kermit was one of the puppets that Jim brought. So he is on those early episodes.
Interesting.
And he's kind of a little different than the Kermit we know today. Maybe a little surly. He sits with his like legs up a lot. Like they have his like legs up on the table. Like I love
Kermit's legs. They just always delight me.
Kermit's just the best all around.
The best.
Yeah, so I just think it's crazy that they have these, like, now just these two such iconic people spending their whole days just like playing together with puppets. God, if I had a time machine, the 4 things I would do, that would be the 4th thing. All right, so now we've got all the things in place. We got the name, the set, the cast, the ideas. We've got animation going. We got it all. Now we need people to know about the show. And this actually made me think about the podcast.
Interesting.
Like, I can't look at I can't go to Apple Podcasts because there are so many podcasts. I'm like, how do people find our little show? Yeah. Living in this world, it's all about discovery. You have to figure out ways for people to find your show.
Well, we can get some advice from Sesame Street. Do they have any tips for us?
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a different time, so there was no social media or anything. It's such a different time that, like, there's write-ups in newspapers, like coming next week, an all-new children's show on public television.
I'm listening. We need to try this.
The New York Times is writing about it. They weren't so concerned about reaching, at this point, the suburban kids. More than likely, they're going to find it. But again, like, she cannot emphasize enough how much she wants us to go to inner city kids. And just so you know, PBS at the time, it was only in about 67% of the households because it was like a different feed or something. I read that once and then couldn't find it and go back and give you the details. But not everyone could get it easily. Yeah. So it was only in about 67% of the houses. The television network did have a woman who literally went door to door in New York City to let families know that this show was coming on.
All right, I'll do it. I'll try it. Door to door in Los Angeles. There's a hot new podcast on the block.
Do you like Tide? Do you want to hear about how old it is? Check out Thursdays on Brand. She went to like YMCA's, anywhere she could think of where someone might want to watch the show. She's just going there and being like, you guys, a new show, Sesame Street, coming out Thursday, Monday.
You're pretending to be on your phone, managing mom's medicine.
Sorry. I'm holding like 12 totes that I just bought from Wegmans. And then something I came across that I thought was so interesting, I don't think this was in the documentary, Xerox, which had absolutely no affiliation with Sesame Street, sponsored a special that aired on NBC, which is network television, the Saturday before Sesame Street on Monday, to show people Sesame Street. They showed them the sets and the characters. Like, it was such a weird crossover because I picture PBS being such its own thing.
Yes.
And so NBC said that they thought it was very important for people to know about the show, and they thought the best way to get the word out was to show it on network television. So they gave a half an hour of time.
That is crazy. Just like out of the goodness of their hearts.
Girl, you know there was some sort of deal.
Like, Xerox is good.
They're like, I'm going to need an hour alone with Big Bird. No questions asked. Then send Ernie and Bert in.
You'll get your 30 minutes.
You'll get your 30 minutes. But yeah, whether it was out of the, I doubt any brand does anything out of the goodness of their heart. But for whatever reason, they did that special.
That's really, really cute.
Okay, and then here we are, guys. We're at it. November 10th, 1969.
Wow.
Sesame Street premieres. It goes out to 170 public television stations. The first thing you see is in color because we are still in a time where a show being in color is not a guarantee.
It's a big deal.
It is in color. The theme song plays. When I heard that theme song yesterday, literally, like,
tears will come to my eyes.
I didn't cry, but it was like my heart swelled, like that ding, 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 like that, like piano music. Do you remember any of the lyrics by any chance?
Sunny days, sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet.
You know it.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? I love the song.
And it's like I keep wanting to say 70s because we're so right. We're 1 month away from the 70s and it all looks 70s, but technically 60s footage of like kids on jungle gyms and like just like, oh, it is so
Heaven.
Freaking great.
Amazing.
So definitely check that out.
That's great. There's going to be a podcast in 50 years about the On Brand show.
Oh my God.
And they're going to be
theme
going, you're all jazzed up, really having a cow.
I never remember the words to our own theme song because I don't listen.
The hosts are going to be tearful, reciting the lyrics to On Brand.
They're like, anytime I see a man sweating, I think, God, I miss Jon.
Because that was before sweat rags were mainstream.
Oh, yeah. This
so
was
people were just sweaty.
I'm a pioneer.
It was different.
Okay, so this first episode, let's just walk you through some of it. It had such a perfect device. We have a new young girl moving into Sesame Street. Her name is Sally, and Gordon is basically taking her around to introduce her to all the characters. We are Sally, obviously.
Yes.
And this is how we're going to meet everybody. We meet Big Bird, who has the weird pointy head. He's kind of like a big child.
She's like, I'm moving. I'm good. I don't live here, actually. It's one town
She just looks at those legs. It's like those cartoons where you look at something and they turn into the food that they are.
Yes.
Just turns into like a big hen, cooked hen.
Frightening.
We love Big Bird. You have Ernie in the bathtub, like I mentioned before. I already did my whole spiel on him and Jim Henson. And what I love, and this is what I'm talking about that I did not realize. Okay, so we meet, you just hear, Sally hears Ernie singing. Mm-hmm. And Gordon is like, oh, if you ever hear singing coming out that window, probably means Ernie's in the bathtub. And then we go in and we meet Ernie and then Bert. And then that cuts to like an educational film about a little kid taking a shower and like, you know, staying clean is important. And there's a lot of things that need to be clean. And then you need to clean your house and you need to clean animals and you need to clean your yard. And then that's this whole educational thing. And then you go back to Ernie and he's singing a song that cuts to all the characters cleaning themselves. And it's just like this reinforcement and like through line that I didn't realize that
and
they did.
connecting the part that might feel a little dry or educational with this like whimsical monster world to suck you in.
Then then it'll cut to randomly for like 30 seconds this psychedelic like countdown of 1 to 10. It's like there were times where I felt like I was in A Clockwork Orange and like my eye should just be like this, and it's like I'm just educating.
There's your thumbnail.
There's your thumbnail. And so and they do it again, like Sally, then you cut to Sally and she's having a glass of milk. Then we see a film about where milk comes from, and milk comes from cows. And in the dairy farm, they put the milk into cartons. And then you see that being sent to stores. And then like all of a sudden kids are learning like this thing that I'm taking came from this thing, then it goes through this, and this is how mom gets it at the store, just so quickly and without even thinking. And it's just really kind of impressive. And then one of my favorite things that I had never seen before, if I did, I do not remember them. They had this little segment with Gordon, and he's talking to what is very scary at the beginning, a little puppet that has no features. There are no eyes. There's no hair. It's just like, okay, you can, like, if you saw it, you might be like, it looks like a It's kind of like a in like a little outfit.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey. And they're like, this isn't anything, people. And I do not know if they meant it as deeply as where we are in the world today.
Sure.
But the lesson is that this little anything person can be anything at once. So the puppet's like, I want to be a girl. I need girl eyes. So like Gordon gets her girl eyes and she's like, and I need girl hair, blonde girl hair. And like we go through like 6 puppets all saying who they are, who they want to be. They get to be whatever they want to be. It's totally accepted. I'm emotional. I'm like, you wanted to be bald? Okay. Like you can be whatever you want. And it's just so like 56 years later, it's resonating on such a different level.
For sure.
Like then it was probably just like, we should teach kids that you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Like back then it was more like, you want to be a fireman, you can be a fireman. You want to be a teacher. But this, it just
It's ahead of its time.
Profoundly
for sure.
ahead of itself at this point.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then you cut back to Mr. Cooper, like Ernie comes in drinking milk, and then Susan needs to buy 2 quarts of milk. We're back to the milk theme. You're using the amount of milk that she buys to learn the number 2. And then it kind of, at the very end of the show, what I thought was so neat is that Sally is sitting on the stoop with Gordon and a bunch of the characters around. And Gordon literally is like, Sally, so how did you like your first day at Sesame Street? It was great. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you learned today about where milk comes. He like reinforces every single thing that they learn. She agrees with it. And then the show's over. And then something that they've always done, which I always liked, and I kind of never thought about the reasoning they did it. At the end of the show, they're like, and today's episode was brought to you by the letter W, S, and E, and the numbers 2 and 3. And that was a whole play on,
That's
at the
cute.
time,
Yes.
television shows would be like, and this show was sponsored by Winston Cigarettes. Like, this was like the kids' version of that. Which
that is so cute.
I had never really connected those dots before.
I don't think I really thought about that either. But again, that's more of like the reinforcing in the same way that end little ad is what might stick in the kid's mind. What you're landing on is like this reinforcement of numbers and letters.
Yeah, and throughout the show, I mean, I didn't talk about everything.
Oh, it's a letter palooza.
It's a letter palooza.
Yes.
Like, they're on S, they're like, snakes starts with S. And
I used to love the animated segments for the letters.
oh my God, and that
so
pin,
fun.
there's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10.
Is that Sesame Street or Electric Avenue? I don't know. That's
It's
one of
great.
our things for my kid. So when I stood back and I watched this show, what really impressed me is that obviously it's an educational show.
Did you learn anything?
I didn't know what W was.
I was wondering, when you go to get a drink from the sink in the kitchen, you always say, "Can I get some otter?"
Can I have some otter? I know, that's why. I also didn't know W is just 2 V's. If you break it, it's a V.
Oh yeah.
And then that's peace sign.
You forget. You
forget. But, and maybe I'm reading too much into this. I don't think so, because they put so much work into this. But if I were to analyze Sesame Street now, what I found so amazing was that it is not just an educational show, but the different layers of education that it's giving you. And the way I broke it down is kids are getting basic education. They're learning their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, their colors and their shapes, and like in a fun way. Like the shapes are bouncing to jazz music and whatever. So that jazz music is also something they're learning in a whole different thing that they don't realize it. But then they're also getting life education. So you might go from like M is for milk, but then cows make milk, stores sell milk, your parents go to stores. They're teaching kids like a better awareness of themselves. You're learning like things that you just take for granted as an adult, but you're learning the difference between like big, bigger, and biggest.
Yeah.
You're learning the difference between going over something or
God,
under
there's a
something.
near and far segment that's burned in my mind.
Yes, near and far, and like
Yes.
things like that. You're going on field trips to the zoo, so you're learning all these things about life. And then what I think might be the most important thing that you're learning that isn't probably even discussed that much is that they're showing a neighborhood and a community and a family, and it's made up of all of these different parts and all these different creatures and humans and weird things of different colors and textures. And it's just this whole Lollapalooza, and everyone is just getting along. Everyone is working together.
Yes.
Everyone is helping each other with their problems. There is no like hate about it. You're not weird. And if there is, it's to teach you a lesson on why that's not good. It is just they learn this sense of like community and this whole social education.
Well, and representing to maybe a suburban audience, the strength in a diverse urban community is that it's all these people who look really different. They come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Some are blue. Some are living in a trash can. you know?
Yeah.
Some are human. Some are not. And that everybody just can interplay so beautifully.
Yeah.
How cool.
And defend Oscar really quick.
Yeah.
If I lived in a garbage can, I'd be grouchy too.
Do you like that they like made grouchy as like not a personality flaw?
Yeah. It's like to be celebrated.
Yeah.
What I did
We're
not
a
know,
proud girl.
apparently Oscar lives in a 3-story garbage can. I did not
cute.
know that
I
because
don't think I
Gordon's
knew
like,
that.
it's not a normal garbage can. And when I read about it, it's apparently goes very deep and it's 3 stories tall.
I haven't spent a lot of time in Oscar's can. Hang hang on.
A couple of things I found interesting that I had no idea about. That first year that Sesame Street was on, they toured and did live shows so that they could like interact with people all around the country. And another thing they did, because I came across this just in a newspaper, you could also subscribe to this. I assume it got snail mailed to you, but they made these parent-teacher guides for Sesame Street, which basically you would get all the air times of when it was going to be on, because it was on several times a day, because it could be on 4 times in a day.
I don't think I knew that.
It also told you in advance the lessons they were teaching and gave parents like activities to do after an episode that reinforced the things that they saw in the episode.
Wow.
It was really like
it would be like go to the grocery store and like look at the milk and talk about where it came from.
Yeah, or it'd be like if you have several children, have them line up in order of height and like mix them up and then do all these
That is so cute. eBay.
Well, actually just newspaper.com. You'll need a subscription if you want a high-res print, which I have.
That is really
cute.
cute.
The question that was asked at the dinner party between Joe and Mr. Morissette, can television teach? The answer is no.
Oh.
No, it's a resounding yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
Of course it could. And another thing I read that I thought was so insane, they said that to duplicate what Sesame Street was doing in real classroom situations around the country, if this was accessible to everybody, the budget for that, not the $8 million that it takes to do Sesame Street for a year, would be $3 billion. It would take years to put together, and there was not nearly enough teachers available to pull it off.
And how many hours in a day, too?
How many hours in a day?
Like, they really packed it in.
They packed it in.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is pull your kids out of school.
Do it now.
Plop them in front of the TV.
Good HBO subscription.
Hope you had a good first day, hun.
First and last.
This is your classroom now.
Yes. I think that is...
This childhood is sponsored by the letters H, B, and O.
They're going to say OB for on brand. And the number 69. So it comes out... I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say the reviews were instant. I mean, within 2 weeks, the reviews were, it looks like Sesame Street is the rating smash of the year.
I hope that psychologist who said that the puppets couldn't talk to the people is humiliated.
Shamed.
May you never raise your hand at a meeting again.
They should make a, like... This is a spoiler from 10 years ago. The Game of Thrones shame scene.
Oh yes,
but have all the Muppets like doing the shame as they walk down Sesame Street.
It's a really niche on-brand meme. The shame scene from Game of Thrones. Someone you make this. The shame scene of Game of Thrones. Find what this person looked like.
A psychologist.
A psychologist.
Or just use a generic psychologist from the late 60s.
Looking type,
probably a white guy or woman with thick rimmed glasses.
And then the Muppets.
And the Muppet
are
shaming.
We work on that.
Other reviews: significant innovation in mass education, historic step forward by television, and Sesame Street quickly set the bar for television programming. I mean, it's a rave. The New York Times says a lot of nice things about it, but then they were like a little like, aside from Oscar, the puppets were bland. And
only liked Oscar.
And could use a laugh track. This is when I closed the newspaper.
Yes.
That paper has become kindling.
Honey, you're going to the bottom of a hamster cage.
But they did go on to say that they think it's disgraceful that network television is not doing something similar.
Yeah,
so
I'd agree with that.
They're on board with this. They got to give you a little sour with the sweet.
Sure.
Phones ringing off the hook. People love it. People hate it. It's controversial. I don't know what to do. This is amazing. I feel seen. I don't want to see it. It's all over the place.
Yeah, wow.
Mississippi bans it for a while, but of course brings it back because
Mississippi, get it together.
God bless you. You are nothing.
Two men should not cohabitate.
While one bathes.
Yes.
You know, as I was saying, they're making 130 hours of this, these dense episodes. They talk about how much the crew has to work. They're working they're getting there in the morning, working until the middle of the night, throughout the night. Joan's letting them do basically whatever they want. They go through just this period of creative chaos. Jon, his intense side is talked about because he's very worried about keeping the show good and keeping its integrity.
Sure.
He's also a little perturbed that he doesn't really get a lot of credit for it. He should get a lot of credit for it, but the fact that Joan is a woman, she was getting most of the press.
Interesting.
People were calling her the most powerful woman in television.
They can both get statues.
They can both
in the
have
town
a
square.
statue. They did learn that children who watch the show with an adult, they tended to learn more because the parents can reinforce it. They also wanted to make sure that they made a show that, I think you hinted at this earlier, that kids and parents could watch and get different things from it. Like they had a piece called Monster Piece Theater. Like a kid's not going to have any idea that that's Masterpiece Theater.
I love
but
that.
like the adult will get that joke. So it's kind of being seen on different levels. They would have parody songs, which I thought was funny. Like they did a song called Let Her Be instead of Let It Be by the Beatles, which is super cute.
So cute.
It was always being seen through, it could be seen very easily through two different eyes.
Not at all grating and annoying, which is not a given.
Like a lot of the repetitive stuff in today's world, but I won't go into that. Within 2 years, Big Bird appears on the cover of Time magazine. That's incredible.
New Big Bird.
The right Big Bird.
Big Bird got a little plastic surgery before the big Time cover reveal, as we both will. Next time you see us, next to the gods.
We're going to Big Bird ourselves.
Sometimes I think about that with celebrities. You look at them like before they got famous and just like how hideous they were.
Oh my God.
And then you're like, that's me.
I will never become the other one, though. The thing I will never do, no matter how huge this show takes us, even if it takes us all the way to Broadway, is I can't imagine getting veneers. The people that have all their teeth pulled and then like fakies put in.
Their teeth are filed down into like little spikes.
That I can't do that. I'll have these rotten
I think crooked teeth should come back.
I think crooked teeth should come back. Hyphen Marisa Pendon. Versus only intelligent people read.
There's a really funny, the Billy Joel documentary is so good. And it's really funny because Billy Joel had kind of like janky teeth, but in like a charming 80s way. Like if you watch any movie from the 80s, maybe 90s, and back, everybody had kind of janky yellow teeth. Billy Joel was no exception. And then there's a moment where it switches and Billy Joel and all of his bandmates and his manager all have gigantic white teeth that barely fit in their mouth. And it's like, I feel like the old ones were better. Do a little Crest white strip. But it's okay.
Brighten it up a little bit. I don't mind. I don't mind a wanky tooth.
I like crooked teeth.
I don't mind a little belly. I don't mind a little baldness. I'm pretty lax.
As long as you are young.
Not too young, though. I'm not that guy.
Well, you don't want old, though.
I don't mind 40.
What's your age limit?
Babe, I'm not done with the show.
60.
I know it sounds... 60. Okay, so December 7th, 1982, one of the original 4 cast members passes away.
Oh.
Will Lee, who played Mr. Hooper.
Yes.
So the producers were like, how are we going to address this? Or do we recast? Do we say that he moved? Do we say that he retired? He ran a shop, a little store, if you didn't know. And they decided what they wanted to do was have Mr. Hooper die on the show as well. They thought this could be an incredible lesson for kids.
Sure.
They reached out to all their advisors. They talked to child psychologists.
Okay, I hope it's someone new.
A new person, hopefully. Child development people, religious people. They talked to a lot of people.
Wow.
I will say, I don't think I said this quote. It's another Joan quote, and I don't have it in front of me, so it won't be right. But she did say something along the lines of, no show, at least at this time, in the history of television has ever been researched, tested, and trialed as much as every single thing that gets put on Sesame Street.
I would believe it.
And as a researcher, I'm so for
Especially
that.
Something that's for kids, which you'd think you would almost like put less effort into it because you're like, it's for kids, who cares?
Right.
But to put so much care and attention to detail into it.
It's like me when I go to like a 1-year-old's birthday party. I'm like, girl, I'll give you a box because I'm not getting you a jelly cat because you don't know what's happening. You get a jelly cat when you're 5. You get a jelly cat once before you're born and then not again until you're 5.
Great. You got to earn it. Every 5 years you get a jelly cat.
Boxes every year until then.
There's a store across the street from my house and there's a little pistachio jelly cat in the window and it is really cute.
Is it yolk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got a jelly cat when they were in Silver Lake.
Really cute.
Okay. So they talked to this team and they're like, so if we were to do this, what do kids need to learn about death? And the consensus was there's basically only 2 things that they need to know. When someone dies, they never come back. And whatever it makes you feel is okay.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
It's so simple. I think it still stands today.
Yeah.
They still don't come back. Well, now I don't know.
I
with
mean,
cloning and droning.
we've heard a very compelling story of an Anne Frank reincarnation.
Reincarnation, yeah. Dolly the sheep, is that still around?
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
clone.
so that's what they needed to learn. So they made the decision, and this I thought was incredible. Actually, the way I watched this scene yesterday just because I wanted to know what it was like. And basically, we learn about, oh God, it did make me cry.
I remember this.
It was super touching. It's basically, you learn it through Big Bird. So Big Bird has drawn...
Big Bird is always, if you have bad news to deliver, send in Big Bird.
Because Big Bird is us. Big Bird, I did not realize was supposed to be so much of a child. Like, Big Bird is the audience. He's not... like
He might be the dumbest one.
He's smart. Well, he's a kid. He's not dumb.
Yeah,
he just hasn't learned.
The other ones seem
This is
more
why
like...
you're not in that meeting. So we have a psychologist, a religious person, and Marissa Pendon. She thinks kids are dumb.
The other ones seem a little bit more mature. At which Big Bird is the biggest. You might think like, oh, he's the grown-up, but he's not.
He's a big oaf.
Yeah, he's a big oaf.
So...
and he's really young because he has a granny bird.
Oh, there's all these, and have you looked at? If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, look at Big Bird's
His
in
family
other,
tree.
just other country Sesame Streets.
Really?
It is bizarro world.
Oh wow, okay.
But Big Bird has drawn all these pictures of each character, and he gives them to all. And he's like, then he's got Mr. Hooper's. He's like, I can't wait to give Mr. Hooper's picture.
Oh.
And they're like, Big Bird, don't you remember? I will totally cry. Don't you remember he died? And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll give it to him when he comes back.
Oh.
Like, he's not coming back. And then they explain it to him, and he really has to, like, learn that. Like, and he can't get it through. He's like, but he's not coming back ever? Oh, God, it is so heartbreaking. And so then that's how they learned about it. And what they did, which is like just such another incredible thing, they waited to air this show on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, my God.
Because they knew that families would all be together.
God.
So if a kid really struggled with it, they would be surrounded by like everybody in the... I don't think I've ever seen you get teary on this show.
That is so sweet.
It was so
That's
thoughtful
so
and sweet. And they say... to this day is probably their proudest moment in the
to put that
show.
attention even into that, like where is the kid? Are they going to be supported when they see this?
I mean,
is it when mom is going to be working the late shift down at the docks,
working the poles, over it?
Well, she has a double shift working the poles. She runs like a polling station, and then she's a stripper, so it's a double shift working the poles. Oh my gosh, that is so lovely. How
I know.
sweet.
It's so good.
How
all right.
sweet.
And then this is another moment. God. So when I grew up, Big Bird had an imaginary friend that only Big Bird saw called Snuffleupagus.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Snuffy, of course.
Everyone loves Snuffleupagus. Well, in 1985, they decided to introduce Snuffleupagus to everyone at Sesame Street because they became very concerned that kids would not report sexual abuse or child abuse to adults because they wouldn't believe that existed. They would think that it was imaginary. So they were like, we need kids to know that if they talk to somebody that they are real. And I was like, holy shit.
Like there might be like a secret, like, oh, this is, you don't have a secret relationship with anybody.
Like they're seeing adults say, oh, that person doesn't exist. So like, you're not going to be like, I got hurt by this person. Like, no, you didn't. I know. Right? Didn't know about that
Louise.
1990, Jim Henson is supposed to go to a recording session. He woke up having a hard time breathing and coughing blood, but he kind of put it off and didn't go to the hospital until it got so bad that he had to go to the hospital. He ends up dying. They said if he had come a few hours earlier, he probably...
John, this is getting sad.
I know. We'll end on a happy note. No, it doesn't get happy from here on out. Jim Henson passes away. I knew someone, I don't think she listened to the show.
Okay.
She was so sad when Jim Henson died.
Yeah.
She wore a green veil for the whole day. And we kind of made fun of her, I think, a little bit.
Where'd she find a green veil?
Girl, you go to Joanne's. It doesn't exist anymore, but I'm sure she just threw on something.
Oh my God.
Okay, so 2001, Big Bird's nest gets destroyed. The funny thing is, when I did this in timeline, I didn't even think about this being sad.
God, the dark years.
His nest gets destroyed, and they turn that into a 5-part series to help kids to learn about preparing for storms and coping with loss.
Okay.
They show that again in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina, and again in 2012 for Hurricane Sandy.
Great.
2002.
Elmo gets hit by a car.
They address 9/11. In a 4-part episode. Not directly, but they do 4 episodes dealing with fear and intolerance.
Okay, great. It's important. It's important. It's just not, it's not fun, but it's important. Sometimes the show isn't fun, but it's important.
I'm glad you say that, because later that year, in the South African version of Sesame Street, we get our first Muppet that has HIV. Cammy. And that's
the end? That's your last time on the timeline?
Wait, I think I have some fun facts, but I might... Oh, okay. Nope, I got it. Nope, that's almost it. But I do have...
Jeez Louise.
2 fun facts.
Okay.
One, at the peak of its popularity, Sesame Street was watched by 8 out of 10 children in the United States.
Great.
Preschool kids.
Cute.
And Elmo, for quite a while, was just a background character who mumbled before Tickle Me Elmo made him a spotlight hero star of the show.
That's interesting. I wondered when Elmo came on the scene, because some of our Sesame Street books are from the 80s, and Elmo was not in them at all,
No,
except for the inside cover, like the inside front and back cover will have like all the Sesame Street characters on bikes, and Elmo's on a bike,
Yeah.
and he has like long, weird legs, but he does not appear anywhere in the story.
No, Elmo's the Urkel of Sesame Street.
Yes.
Like, was not supposed to be a star and then ran away with
snuck his
it.
way in.
So that's
Wow.
it.
Good for you.
And now, I mean, I have a few facts, like through 1997, so however long that is, 69, 79, 89, 1997, Titanic.
I mean,
we don't even have time for
Time
it.
machine.
Time machine. So almost 30 years. They did 130 episodes every single year. I think
Crazy.
one year they did 145. I don't know why. Then for the next 20 years, that got knocked down to between 27 and 65, depending on the year. In 2016, it got kicked down to a half-an-hour show instead of an hour show, and it started airing on HBO. For the last 10 years, it's kind of bounced around. It was on HBO from 2016 to 2020, then only streaming on HBO Max from 2020 until now, and later this year, it is moving to Netflix. All of those, I know, crazy.
I didn't know that.
It's being reformatted for Netflix. They're now going to do like an 11-minute story. Like they're doing different things with it.
I hate it.
It'll still go to PBS, so it'll still be able to be reached, which I think is important. But, you know, maybe they have to revamp it. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now. There's Sesame Street. I mean, I don't think I have to ask, but now that you know the story, the good, the bad, the ugly, is Sesame Street on brand for Marisa Pindon?
Sesame Street is hard on brand for me.
It's hard on for me,
It's
too.
hard on for me.
I mean, how could it not be?
Even just saying the words.
Hard
just
on.
Warmth and light. Saying the words hard on. Warmth and light fills my soul. I love it. I love it. I love the characters. I love the zaniness. I love the lessons. I love the sweetness. It's great.
Yeah, I meant to watch a new one just so I could have that comparison
It's really
to talk
good.
about.
It's really good.
So I'll do that.
And they continue to add characters that are kind of representing as many different backgrounds as possible. Like they introduced several, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, a character with autism, and they'll introduce them to the group. So they're constantly doing that. So I think that's the benefit. The old show is a classic. It's probably near and dear to your heart. But the new show is really, really solid.
Yeah, it seems like they move with the times, which on something like that, you have to. Like children of the late 60s are going to be very different than
and
children
the social
of now.
issues are going to be different than they are now. And they're always, up
Yeah,
ahead of the
similar
curve.
sometimes, which
Yet similar.
is yet similar.
My favorite segment, there's one called Monster Foodies, and it's Cookie Monster, and gosh, I forget who the other guy. It's like a little meeple kind of guy. They are in a food truck.
I read about something
really
with a
cute.
food truck.
This
but
is my favorite one.
I don't know what they do.
They
on
get
it.
a kid who's like, I want to learn how to make like a banana smoothie. And then he's like, okay. And then their little ranky-janky food truck. It shows the food truck actually driving down the city street, which is so cute. Like a real ranky-janky food truck. And then they're like, we need to make up banana smoothies. Let's go to the banana farm. And then they go to like footage from a banana farm to show how like, and that was where I learned what cashews look like on the tree. You ever see a cashew on the tree?
It's insane.
My
I don't even
God.
understand how you get a jar of cashews when they're like that. They grow like a shoe at a time.
It's like a coconut with a little like, I hate to say penis, but,
But
you
you
know what I
love to
but
say
no,
it.
but that's like what, and then they show like the factory and how they're processed, and it's really fun.
Maybe
it's a
I'll
great
start
segment.
watching Sesame Street.
There you go.
I think I'm going to start watching Sesame Street. Well, there you go. I'm glad that we were both able to learn a little bit about one of our favorite streets. But before we go, let's learn about some of our favorite freaks.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, we got to give out our shout outs to our Freaks of the Week. We have 5 Freaks of the Week this week. These are all the people that guessed the Lisa Frank Insta Egg correctly. If you are not familiar, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post a little puzzle. If you're able to solve that puzzle and tell me what the next day's brand is going to be, you will be sent an official Freak badge, and your name will be added to the Wheel of Freaks. I will spin that Wheel of Freaks 5 times every week to come up with our Freaks of the Week. And that's who these lucky bitches are. We have KG. We have Zoe Sturr. We have Corey Neal. We have May Smith. And now Aaron Looper. So congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for playing the Insta Egg. I have such a fun time making them. I love helping, sometimes having to help. I love you guys solving them. So please continue to do that. And check out our Instagram for supplemental materials that we post every week that just give you more information about the episodes that we did and things that we talked about. There's a lot of stuff to check out. And if you want to see the show, instead of just listening to it, we now have a YouTube channel where you can check us out and watch the entire episode, me sweating and all. You can see what swatch I'm wearing. You can see my fiance Jeff's ring. You can see what I'm snacking on and what I'm drinking on YouTube every week.
And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to shout out some lovely listeners who've left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. First, we have Dilly Dally Doo, who says, Newt Gingrich era. The Kellogg's episode is hilarious. And Mac Warkin says, breezy and deep. It's like listening to good friends catching up and then randomly dropping some deep facts and insights about this strange time we live in. I've always enjoyed whenever Marissa's on another pod. I heard her and John's appearance on Podcast The Ride about VR Titanic, which you should go listen to if you haven't. We had a very fun time at the VR Titanic experience and started listening to the show immediately afterwards. Thank you so much for listening, Mac Warkin, and thank you for the review. If you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do. It helps boost the show. It boosts our moods. It boosts morale around here, which we all need a morale boost these days.
God, I've never needed a boost more.
You should sign up for Boost Mobile.
I want to be a Boost bitch. Boost Mobile.
Go to Instagram.
Brought to you by Boost Mobile. And the letter P?
Sure. Instagram at On Brand the Pod. TikTok at On Brand the Podcast. You can play John's Insta Egg game. You can see supplemental images and videos from the show. You can chat with us there. Talk to John in bed. And with that, we will see you next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, we may go off topic, but guys, we're always going to be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into, from chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredeliaQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.